throw him out. So they're at 7 on 7 guys that they really wanted to get length from, the guy they put out there. So when we did this, it was before the opener era of baseball. So they've done 7, and they're going to get an 8th in Lorenzen. And now we're, about ready to kiss the 3/4 pole. I mean, we've got the 2/3 mark behind us.
That's the other part of it.
There's not that much left.
Right.
So some other people got to go to knock them out, and that's not happening right now.
And by the way, the Baseball Reference does have their methodology on their playoff percentages. It says the odds are based on 1,000 simulations of the rest of the season. The team's estimated quality is determined by the performance over the last 100 regular season games, even if it spans seasons, which is kind of weird. So early on, they were getting penalized for how they finished last year. It does include a regression to the mean factor.
That's a really important point.
It is a hugely important point.
When you're carrying, although they were better.
If you were wondering,
the last 100, and they had a winning record in September last year.
But you've been following this week to week, and suddenly about 10 or 11 games ago, the numbers started to change. That might be part of the reason. It says it does include a regression to the mean factor, but it does not say anything about diving into the team. It's simply their performance, which would be, I'm assuming, wins and losses and run differential.
Yeah. Why isn't the Twins' run differential better? If everyone's so high on the Twins, like at what point are the Twins what their run differential says? 40 runs worse than the Royals.
Well, it was pretty bad early. I mean, quite bad. So I think
the trend is better.
I think people thought that they were just underperforming as a team for 30 games or so, and now the last stretch where they've been a solidly winning team because they were 10 games under 500, I think, early on.
Well, here's what part of it is. Let's see. I'm looking here.
They were 7-13 was their worst record.
Was that their worst?
Their worst. And they won
a bunch.
12 straight. And suddenly they were looking okay.
They have, count it up here, hold on, 22 games against sub-500 teams left, starting with 3 with the White Sox tonight.
Yeah, the White Sox are just in a different category. It's getting to the point where if you lose to the White Sox, it's
2 losses.
It's like a double bogey on a par 5. I mean, it's bad. But, the White Sox have had a few decent stretches this year, so you're almost like, are they going to get surprisingly pesky toward the end of the season? I don't think so, but they might say this is embarrassing and start trying, because they're not trying right now. Although they put up a reasonable fight in the 3 games against the Royals. I'll say that they were better.
Led the first 2, and
they were better.
They got down to where it's like, okay.
Series in Kansas City, they were just no-showed it.
What was the stat about Pedro Grifol, where the only manager with a worse career record than him was a dentist who just joined, managed for the Phillies during the war?
I didn't hear that.
Sounds right.
Pretty bad.
I'm going to argue it.
Casey Stengel managed the Mets, so he had a lot of wins piled up.
Yeah.
But,
322 career win percentage is not particularly strong.
Listen, I hate to say this because I think Nicky Lopez was a nice kid, but if Nicky Lopez is starting, you're screwed.
Yeah.
He is going to start for 2 of the worst teams in recent baseball history. Last year's Royals and this year's White Sox. The Royals finally moved on, but just look at the names on the White Sox. Corey Lee, Andrew Vaughn was actually a high pick, but trust me, I've tried to push that turd uphill for a couple of years in fantasy baseball and have not been able to do it. Brooks Baldwin, Miguel Vargas, Nicky Lopez, Gavin Sheets, Andrew Benintendi, Luis Robert, and Dominic Fletcher. That's who they run out there. That's the top. And Yoan Moncada, shocking, is hurt.
It's actually Luis Robert
and he
for
sucks
some reason.
Anyway. Is it?
Yes.
All right, whatever. I've always called him Robert.
And
Garrett Crochet is
probably should be Robert.
Nails. So, I don't know.
I think they should be a little bit better. I agree.
Not
with
much.
That.
How many people there did you know? Do you know their name? Do you know anything about them?
Right, and they traded away arguably their best hitter, although he hadn't been hitting this year. So, yeah, it's a bad team. There's no doubt about that. But there's bad and there's lose every night bad.
Yeah.
And they're doing that.
Well, baseball gives you a chance to win games.
Right, and they're defying it. Basically, the only teams that have done this are kind of the Mets. That's dreadful. That's 250. Usually, in other sports, there are teams that go out and play 180 ball. I mean, it's commonplace in the NBA or something, or hockey, a little less so hockey. But even in baseball, 350 winning percentage is awful.
I mean, Bobby Witt's batting average is 350, and this team,
And their win percentage is 243.
Yes, they are.
Which shows just how bad the Mets are, because all they need is still. What have they lost? 17 in a row now, right?
Yeah.
All they need is 2 wins, and they'd be above the Mets again.
As someone who's spent the last, number of years, anytime some team gets close, I'm like, oh, come on, I really want to see it. All it takes is 3 out of 4, and you're like, well, that's done. That ain't happening.
I thought that happened, like about 3 weeks ago. They had a pretty decent run. Mm-hmm. I think they got up to like 30%, and now 17 losses later.
03 Tigers almost did it, and then they won 4 of their last 5 and bummed me out.
Yeah.
I kind of like the Mets having it. It gives them something. I mean, historically bad, and it was an expansion team, and it signified another year of baseball. And it's funny stories. There's books written about it. I don't mind if they hold the mantle. The White Sox, they're like, imagine if they weren't the Black Sox once. They might be the most anonymous franchise in all of baseball, particularly among the original ones.
Yeah.
They've done so little.
Yeah, ownership is key.
And they're in the shadow of the Cubs, too. I mean, it's not good.
Let's take a break. Danny Klinkskill's with us. Little Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, online at eastonroofing.com. Get your free inspection, free estimate. A lot of storms blowing through this year. It's been unusual. It has meant a lot of roofs have been battered. Whether it's your home or your business, Easton Roofing has got you covered. Call them at 913-257-5426. Find them online at eastonroofing.com.
If you'd like to join these and other fine sponsors and market your business to Kansas City's #1 variety podcast, contact us at danny@dannyclinkskill.com. Look forward to working with you.
Did you experience hail damage last year and never got the work done? Most insurance companies only give you a year to get the roof fixed. And if you don't get it done, you could possibly not be compensated in full for the replacement of your roof. If you've been procrastinating getting that damaged roof taken care of, give us a call at 913-257-5426, and we'll send out an expert to help you through the process. We're never pushy, we're just here to help. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
All right, the good sense, end of the hour answer.
Just had to get that out.
Yes,
before
I know.
Before Vinny, who was the last Royals first baseman to hit 2 home runs in a game?
You're just trying to be mean to the Royals?
No.
I mean, this is, apparently
it's a
you
fun
are.
question.
Who was the last first baseman? I was like John
2
Mayberry.
homers in a game.
You're right. It's got to be embarrassing.
No, it's
Didn't
actually
go back
not.
quite that far, but there's some funny stuff to it, though.
Well, Curtis said to me, he goes, it's been done 7 times since Eric Hosmer.
There are 7 players have done it 9 times.
Okay, well,
like,
that's it. Okay, that's not as embarrassing.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to go way back.
Then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm an idiot. I'll bet Sal Perez did it one of the times he played first. And he's like, yeah, he's the last 2, isn't he?
That was that was the most recent one.
Okay, but he's done it twice.
Right, but between Hosmer and Pasquantino, it happened 9 times by 7 different players. Now we'll go in reverse order, the most recent to the oldest. Sal Perez, Nick Pratto.
What?
Carlos Santana.
Oh, I almost
Sal Perez again.
I forgot that he played for the Royals.
Ryan O'Hearn.
Well, that's not so surprising.
Whit Merrifield.
Oh, boy.
Ryan O'Hearn. Chesler Cuthbert.
Oh, no.
And on his birthday, Kendrys Morales. Big Ken did it. Those are the 9 that happened between.
It's not as bad as you'd think.
No. When you see Whit Merrifield,
I thought
Cuthbert,
it was going to be horrid, like 3 times since John Mayberry, like you said.
The fact in 8 years they've had now 8 different first basemen that have done it. Not since Hosmer, Pasquantino was the 8th different guy to do it.
That's actually kind of bad.
That's kind of bad.
I mean, you've had all these different guys playing first base.
Steve Alboni.
That's kind of a position
over
where
a 7-year span.
Right. It's kind of a position where a guy usually locks in, plays a lot of games. I mean, it's not physically taxing.
Let's be honest, it pretty much means you can't develop anyone that can hit.
Right.
Because if you can hit and can't field, they'll throw you at first base.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And so it means it shows how rough the position player development's been since Bobby Witt and now Vinny Pasquantino. And I will add how important I think it is that Vinny Pasquantino, it can't just be Bobby.
Right.
And so Vinny
Yeah,
Pasquantino...
because Bobby's going to go through a stretch here where he hits
380.
250 for a couple weeks. I mean, that's not even bad. You just hope it's not a slump because that might really kill him.
Yeah, and let me be clear. Vinny's been fine, right? He's been absolutely fine. But he needs to be fine. Like, I got no problem with a player who's fine for 4 months and exceptional for 2. That's a
Right.
That's a
That's a good
300
season.
guy. That's a good season, right? If you can just, like, the Royals have been plagued, and part of it is because he knows what a freaking strike is. And so even if he's not red hot, he's not miserable. And if you throw a fat one, he can punish it.
And he makes contact.
He makes good contact. And so I love Vinny Pasquantino. Like, this year,
4th best OPS on the team right now.
and that's fine. And I'll bet it finishes higher.
Yeah.
But if he
But
just keeps
760,
doing this,
that's workable.
well, but you can live with a guy who hits
Yes.
20 home runs and a 330 on base. Like, that is a productive major league player. And if he gets hot here for a month or even the rest of the season, then the numbers are going to be way better than that. And that's what, quality first basemen look like. That's how you go 30 and 100.
And he has only 2 fewer RBIs than Bobby Witt Jr., and he has 47 fewer at-bats.
And he's got Bob in front of him. We can
Yes, that helps.
unravel that mystery pretty quick.
But he's been taking advantage of the fact that he's got a hot.
Yes.
He's got 76 RBIs.
Well, that's the thing, because
110 game mark.
And he'll walk, and he hands the baton down the line. So I love Vinny Pasquantino, and I'm optimistic that a deal will get done with him. I think he was in the same spot last year that Bobby Witt was the year before, and that was like, well, he's not living up to our expectations. Okay, let's sign him. Well, if you're the agent, you're like, you don't want to sign now. Are you better than this? Yes, I'm better than this. Then we don't want to sign now. You're going to have arbitration. Worst case scenario, you get arbitration, right? Like, baseball gives you kind of diet free agency after 3 years. And so you can make some more money. Then bet on yourself, go have a good year. Well, now he's had a good year. And I feel like at the end of this year, if you can get him signed, and he may be like, I'm capable of even more and not sign. Okay, fine. Because I don't know how many years you got to sign because he's older. How old is he now?
Let's see.
You're not locking. You're locked. If you're.
I think he's 26.
26.
And this was like next year's his first arbitration year, right?
Yeah,
or no?
he'll
Is he
be-
still? What's his service time?
Arbitration in 26, according to this page.
Okay, so he's
Does
got
that
one
mean
more.
Yeah,
after-
1.1.
And he's 26 now.
Yeah. He'll be 27 in
So
October.
he's going to be 30 when he'll be 31 in his first year of free agency.
Yeah.
So it's not imperative to sign him, but I think for the camaraderie and the chemistry, I would kind of like to see him. And I think with his strike zone judgment, don't you think he's going to be productive to 32?
Yes.
So why not lock up a couple extra years on him, give him a little more money now, save money later, and know that these are our guys. We've got our middle of the order locked up. And then with those two locked up, you become more attractive to try to go buy a hitter out on the market.
For sure.
Well, as his performance has improved as the season has gone on, I've sort of changed. My tune is consistently getting a little bit of change on his sacrifice fly stat, because I was kind of getting to the point where I was like, is this good that he's leading the league in sacrifice flies? That means you ain't getting a hit with the guy on third a lot. So I was sitting there, I was like, But now he's continued to do it. It almost looks like he goes up there and tries, which I guess is
Well,
best.
that's what he said after the game.
I know he says it.
Yeah. He says, I mean,
Well, I'll believe him. Now, and I've started to, the more he's done it, I guess I believe him.
Yeah.
Now, having the mindset that going up there and just hitting a fly ball is okay, I don't know if that's great. I think in a different era of baseball, or maybe it says something about, he's a team guy, or maybe it says something about the fact that he's not confident that he can, get a hold of one for real.
I got no problem with it.
Yeah. Like I said, as time has gone on, I've had less of a problem with it. At first, I was like,
Well, but I mean, forget about the results. Let's talk about the process. Like the process of, do you have a problem with the process of the guy saying, I'm going to get the ball in the air when he's got a guy on third?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
But he hadn't said that. You know, he hadn't said that out loud until recently.
Yeah. Well, he said it and he's doing it.
Right.
That's the other thing. Wanting to do that